And there.
All right, so game number 5 between our Red Terran player on the left side of the map fighting for his life here in this match. The champion from Team FX Open, it is GuMiho. And in the bottom right part of the map from the Team Complexity, it is NaDa.
Yes, it is, and we'll see what these guys have to offer now. We are spawning close positions down to the bottom of the map, as you guys can see, so air component can be very, very real in this game. This is one of those maps, though, where anything, literally anything, could happen. I mean, anything from quick one-base play all the way up to a ridiculous hour-and-a-half long base trade absurd game. So,
well, we saw that kind of you know, for some reason I just lost the ability to describe it, but let me try again. Jeez.
Go ahead. It's been a long day.
Yeah, seriously. The little plateau at the natural expansion that you can siege up underneath, we saw that become a big factor in the last game, in our last series we saw on this map, so it very well could again. The spawning positions certainly do suggest that type of thing, especially for NaDa. He'll be able to roll right up there if he gets the opportunity to. You know, and really for GuMiho, every time I say that, I'm like, you know, well, really for both of these guys, you know, it could work out pretty well. In fact, GuMiho may have a little bit of an edge there instead.
It is really just a little bit, though. Yes, it's a rotationally symmetrical map, and yes, you know, NaDa's doesn't point 100%. That it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Both these guys are going to have great access to the other player's natural. It's really going to matter who has control of this El-Naga tower in the middle and who can actually fight for map control.
They're going to be fighting over that quite a bit, absolutely. And here comes the first SCV to fight for that. Will he scout the right direction?
No. Heading up to the right.
All right. Well, we'll have to see where GuMiho sends his.
Yeah. It's always one of those sad scenarios when you see one player being very diligent, scouting nice and early, but picks the wrong direction, and the other guy scouts way later, but picks the right direction first and ends up getting a better macro benefit.
Easy mode. Yep. So here comes a scout now from GuMiho, and we'll have to see which direction he decides to go.
He's going top left, I think. Or at least to the
looks like he is, so yep. Probably,
or maybe just cross positions.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
There's been a fair amount of games where people will proxy buildings in the middle of the map, the direct middle of the map right there, where you just don't think to check. It's not a normal scouting path, so that's why we see GuMiho going cross positions here. Because otherwise there's not really a reason to, because he's going to get there, he's not going to see NaDa, and then he's going to not know which direction to go, too. So, you know, it doesn't really help you at all to scout cross positions, but it does kind of let you know if there are any sort of middle map proxies.
GuMiho had a rally point set up top right and then top left, so he's actually scouting cross positions, then left, then cross positions again, so it's actually as late as it could possibly be.
Yeah,
now,
exactly.
Both players are putting up reactors and factories, but no second gases, so it looks like we may have reactored Hellions out of both these guys.
Yep, certainly could be. It's a good map for that, too. I mean, you can kind of sneak up by the third, and then you can bypass the ramp to the natural and get right into the base through that flat ground. So that might be what they kind of have in mind. There's the expansion going up for, well, actually both players. GuMiho getting his, NaDa getting his in his base. So NaDa playing a little bit more defensively. Oh, and the SCV somehow magically sneaks past those Marines, and he sees that it is going to be a few reactored Hellions here. He's going to get a scout on the gases too, possibly.
Yeah.
Will he see that second gas?
Looks like he's going to get there.
Yes, he will. Yeah. So he knows everything.
Yeah, perfect scout there, and that SEV can know that he can die with a job well done.
Yep. And GuMiho knows where his opponent is now, but he doesn't know what's going on inside that base. And, well, I mean, all he needs to do is really look inside his own base, and then he'll pretty much see what's going on inside NaDa's base. But
that's true.
Yeah, with some slight variation. Second gas coming up now for GuMiho after the scout is dead. That one's not going to get in there, no.
I don't think he had a chance.
Yes.
But
now, here's the interesting thing, though. NaDa didn't move his command center out there. He didn't build it at the natural expansion. So when GuMiho moved in here and didn't see a command center, he might be thinking a little bit. He's like, all right, is this going to be some sort of one-base play here? And you can see him putting down a bunker right away just to make sure he's safe. So, yeah, GuMiho very unsure what his opponent is doing. We'll have to see if he decides to use that scan at about a 620, and he does.
Well, let's see here.
I thought I heard it go down. Maybe
I thought I heard one as well. Maybe not.
NaDa was maybe scanning?
Possibly. I'm not sure. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, we'll find out.
Did we just both, like...
I thought I heard it, too. I'm not going to lie. I really thought I heard it as well. So... Oh, well, we're just crazy. And that's actually a mule dropping down, so the scan at the 630 mark is not being used.
Yeah.
And let's see here now. NaDa is going to lift out that orbital command here in just a second. Already has a Viking in the air.
Check NaDa's vision and see what he's seeing.
Yes.
Or GuMiho's vision, rather.
Yeah, oh, I checked it before, and he had seen nothing. So.
Nothing. He has no idea at all what is going on in his opponent's base. Looks like he's going to try to come up over the side here, though. A little bit of a Hellion drop.
See if that's actually able to work here now, as not many units sitting that direction. Oh, NaDa was transferring a couple of units as well, but really has to back up. That's way too many Hellions to try and take that on.
The Viking right there as well. Going to do some damage to that medevac, and he's actually going to kill it.
Yeah.
Nothing really is going to stop that medevac from dying. The Hellion's like, thanks for the ride.
Shake their angry fists in the air at the Viking. But let's see here now, as NaDa is sitting on the same number of workers as his opponent. He's got a superior amount of Hellions, but the big advantage for GuMiho, of course, that he continued with his Marine production, and he is actually adding in tanks now.
GuMiho got quite supply blocked here, too, as well. He's putting up 3 supply depots at once.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he's been supply blocked for a good 30 seconds or so right now. That's not something you want to see happen. NaDa actually a little bit supply blocked himself as well. Not for very long, just a couple seconds, but kind of funny how you see pro gamers miss that same supply depot. 54 is like one of those depots that you miss all the time as a Terran player, so even at the pro level, it looks like.
For me, it's always 60 off of the Forge Fast Expand. I just want to murder myself when I'm looking. All right, it's time for a warp into Stalkers now. Nope.
Yep, there's certain ones that people just kind of tend to miss a little bit more often just because it's a timing where there's usually a lot happening during the game. Yeah. Those tanks are very bravely moving up by themselves, maybe trying to find some Hellions, I would guess.
Well, we'll find out. That is awfully brazen.
Wow, where are they going?
Okay, all right.
It's just kind of getting a lead because they're a little bit slower.
Yeah, pretty slow.
So. I'm sure.
Well, let's see here now, as there are, what's the Viking count? 4-3 right now. Excuse me, in favor of NaDa at the moment. And GuMiho can try and roll his way up and do some damage. He has siege mode on the way, and okay, we have a difference in builds now. Is NaDa going to go right back to Mech? Of course, 2 more factories on the way.
Yep. Pretty much, and I do love that Mech play, so I'm really glad to see NaDa going for something like that. You know, being a StarCraft 1 pro gamer, it's not surprising at all to see him start to play, more Mech than Bio, which is kind of what we've seen from him lately. Aside from some really kind of bizarre builds here and there, he has started to seem to kind of favor Mech. It's not too surprising to see that, given his history.
Well, let's see here. 3 Hellions on 3 Hellions. Who gets the first shot? And both players microing back and forth, but NaDa is going to go back home. A few Vikings are out now, I guess, escorting the barracks, but they're going to get a pretty good read on the destructible rocks going down.
Yep. And those Hellions are like, it's just too hard.
Hey, you want us to melt this? Really? You want us to melt these rocks? Come on.
Well, you'd think that would work better than shooting them apart with tiny bullets.
That's actually a very valid point.
I don't know.
Get the tanks up there, man.
It's science.
Yes. That's science.
So GuMiho's getting some bio upgrades, getting stim, getting custom shells, adding in some marauders now. And it looks like NaDa is actually moving out a little bit early here. Normally you don't see him move out until about 150 supply with Mech, but NaDa deciding he's got an opportunity to maybe get out and do some damage here.
We'll see if he feels like he has enough. All right, both sets of tanks are going to siege up, but of course the Viking count is heavily in favor of NaDa at the moment. GuMiho really has to watch out. Gets 2 of his tanks possibly picked off. Yeah, 2.
Nice. Yeah, he does significantly have the air advantage here.
And we'll see if that's going to be enough. Yeah, GuMiho going to start moving back, so not going to be able to take advantage of those destructible rocks he cleared up. GuMiho, he's going ahead and splitting up his Marines a little bit, but then just gets everything rocked. Tanks are trading, though. And so now NaDa actually has to watch out. He's only got 1 tank sitting there on the high ground.
Yeah, he's got another one coming in here.
Oh, nice.
It looks like it's going to be enough. Yeah, the SCVs are like, it was just here a moment ago. A little bit of Viking harassment from GuMiho.
Yeah, forces a couple units away, but of course tanks tear through landed Vikings and forces them to lift off.
Yep, so NaDa getting that position underneath the high ground at the natural expansion, kind of like we see in most TVTs here. Oh, the Vikings are too far back. Whoops. A little bit of a mistake by NaDa. That's going to cost him at least 1 siege tank.
Yeah, it does there, unfortunately. Hellions trying to roll up to pick off a couple of units as well. Those landed Vikings are still inside of his base, actually doing a little bit of damage now, but the SCVs are going to be pulled off the line to eventually drill that to death.
Yep, that's right. He's going to get drilled. And NaDa, he's adding on 2 siege tanks at once, so he is going to be able to have a decent advantage here. GuMiho, though, moving out. Not the best time to do that.
Whoa.
Oh, man, GuMiho.
I don't think he was expecting that.
Yep, and NaDa still has GuMiho's base more or less on lockdown. That Viking, though, floating menacingly in the sky.
All right, 124 supply to 106. Workers 63 to 55 in favor of NaDa at the moment, so it's slightly superior economy, but of course he's a little bit oversaturated, I would say.
Oh no, that's how many SCVs. Oh, I can't even like make that work. No, that is definitely oversaturated.
Yes.
Well, you know, it's good to bring some SCVs with this type of push too, so I would be surprised to see NaDa do that.
Yeah.
Adding in a Banshee there as well now.
So annoying to pick off those supply depots up in the front. GuMiho.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just going to try and bust out of this, but the SCVs went down right away. The bio unit starting to take a lot of the fire from the back. NaDa not actually landing his Vikings quite yet. Confident that the units he has will be able to pick off everything up at the front. He has, in fact, broken a good portion of that position. Now up by 30 supply.
That was a really good decision, actually, for NaDa not to land those Vikings. A lot of Terran players would have done that, and if he would have done that, he would have lost them all to the siege tanks. As it is, it looks like GuMiho is going to be able to barely push this back, but NaDa has a little bit of a supply lead here, so he shouldn't have any trouble defending this counter push from GuMiho.
And GuMiho going to stop at the Xel'Naga Tower, it seems like.
Yep.
All right, so let's see now. A third base finished up for NaDa. He still hasn't cleared away the destructible rocks quite yet. GuMiho a little bit behind in his SCV count of 68 to 44. So NaDa is going to have a ton of SCVs to transfer over to that next base.
That's the thing is you don't want to be behind in bases to a Terran that's going Mech, TVT. As a bio Terran player, you always want to be at least one base up. You generally want to be expanding much more aggressively than your opponent, especially on a map like Tal'Darim Altar. So GuMiho, you can just see how much hurt NaDa has put on him early in this game that he's that far behind in this matchup.
All right, so let's see. GuMiho losing a Hellion there, Hellion action, but NaDa, even with his blue flame, not going to. Well, he actually does trade favorably there. Looks like he will eventually take everything out. Nice job. A Marauder coming up, though. He said, nope, we're putting an end to this now.
Yep.
All right, so that's a lot of SCVs already transferred over for NaDa. So sitting on 75 workers, has so many workers, his economy is kind of ridiculous at the moment.
Good macro, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, yeah, NaDa's got a nice lead there. GuMiho, though, he's getting his third base now, so he'll still be okay, you know? I mean, you do need a lot more resources to sustain that mech army than you do to sustain a big bio force as well. So at the end of the day, we're probably not going to see any more engagements until both these guys are on pretty even ground now. At this point, I think what's going to end up making the biggest difference is the upgrades that both of them decide to get.
And what are those upgrades at? Just +1 weapons coming up now for NaDa. He does have a Raven being added in as well. And back on GuMiho's side of things, grab a bio unit here just on +1 weapons.
Yep. So the upgrades are fairly even. Slight little lead for GuMiho in that regard, but might not last for too long.
You want to be well ahead bio versus Mech, though.
Absolutely. Yeah. NaDa starting his missile turret ring, too, just making himself more or less drop-proof.
Yep. And pretty much starting that everywhere. Very nice decision on his part. GuMiho, though, nice siege tank line here in the middle. Can be broken with the sheer amount of forces that NaDa has, and he sees the forces that are up there. He's actually going to move forward with the air units at first. GuMiho smartly shifting his Marines to the front.
Oops. Got to be a little bit careful with those Hellions here.
Yep.
NaDa and GuMiho just immediately needs to pull back. The Banshees coming in and do damage now. Marines stimming and taking a hit from the siege tank. Yep. You know, it would actually be such a big deal for NaDa to win this match to, you know, take down a great Terran player like GuMiho.
Yeah. Especially after what happened in the first round as well, with the walkover and things like that. So,
well, NaDa still wants to make a name for himself here, you know. If he can get that trip to IPL 4, that'll be a great step forward for his objective.
Yeah, because his teammates Killer Heart and a few of the foreigner players as well are going to be there, but NaDa not actually confirmed for the open bracket yet. So.
Not yet, no.
It'll be nice to see him out there, and GuMiho trying to run through it. He's actually doing some pretty good damage with a small group of bio forces. We have a potential big engagement forming here in the middle of the map. Lots of blue, lots of red mixing everywhere.
Yep. And looks like, GuMiho able to pick up a Banshee there.
Yeah, but you know, NaDa was doing a really cool thing, just keeping his Vikings so they could buffer a few shots from the automatic fire from the AI. Oh, it leads everything back into the siege tanks as well.
Nice.
After one Viking did go down. 4 Hellions making their way off to the left, though. That is going to stop his command center for quite some time.
Yep. All right, so NaDa just kind of locking down his opponent. This is kind of what you want to do as Mech take up that nice defensive position. Good little move by GuMiho, picking off a couple siege tanks. That does help quite a bit.
Yeah. And, oh, fortunately getting a couple more forces trapped out in the middle of the map, though. That is finally going to force GuMiho back home.
Yep. NaDa pushes him back yet again, and those Banshees may be able to score a few more tank kills. We'll have to see. NaDa maxed out right now, 199 out of 200. He's got +2 vehicle weapon attacks on the way. GuMiho has his +2 attack going for his infantry units right now, too. Yeah. And, that's interesting. All right, well, here's the big air fight.
And point defense drone goes down for NaDa, but is that going to be enough with his inferior Viking count? It doesn't look like it's going to be enough, so his Banshees are eventually going to die. That's a pretty big blow to him.
You know, we saw a game 1 earlier with battle cruisers, but we might not get to that point.
We'll find out here as GuMiho trying to push his way through. Finally, the siege tanks do siege up for NaDa, and he's able to drive back the front line of bioforces. And actually, even despite losing the air advantage, is going to find a way to come out in the advantage here. Has to watch out for the Banshee, though. The Banshee just starting to pick off a lot of tanks.
Yeah, no kidding. That one singular Banshee pushing back NaDa here. Vikings very intelligently not landing. Be pretty tough for them to beat those siege tanks.
Vikings 2 at a time coming out for NaDa, but he's 8 Vikings behind at the moment. More units coming out now for GuMiho. Taking a look around, we have some Thors finally getting thrown into the mix for NaDa.
Yeah, just no anti-air otherwise, so the Viking count from GuMiho keeping that Banshee very safe. There the missile turret starts.
Yes.
Banshee barely gets away.
All right, well, NaDa's going to need to start moving away those units. And, oh, a planetary fortress is coming up at the top right-hand corner, but it's not done yet. And we'll see if it just outright dies. And no,
looks like it won't. Yeah,
moves away.
It was pretty close to being finished here. He wouldn't have killed it.
That's true.
In time if NaDa repaired, which we saw he did. So, yeah, GuMiho saving those units for another day.
All right, pretty long TBT in the works here, though, as both these guys have kind of played each other to a standoff in the middle of the map. Both players fighting over extra expansions. GuMiho, though, just not going to be able to take this one on the left-hand side until he deals with the Hellions, which it looks like he is now.
Yep, he's going to be able to clean up those Hellions.
Yeah.
Move position, not doing anything in response to this at all.
Yep.
And 2 almost done for the bio for GuMiho. That's going to help out quite a bit because NaDa's forces are only 2 attack, no armor upgrades at all yet for NaDa. And there's the fusion core just finishing up now for GuMiho, so we will see that same battlecruiser transition as we saw before, and we'll have to see if it works as well this time as it did the other game.
See if GuMiho wants to try and move on a base here. He's got a nice position in between. He is going to go for it, making his way up against the planetary fortress. NaDa immediately pulling everything off the line to go ahead and repair the planetary fortress. Wow. Dying so quickly, though. And it goes down. GuMiho going to clean up the rest of the SCVs. We'll see if NaDa's going to be able to move in and do enough damage against the rest of the forces. Doesn't have a ton of Vikings in the air. In addition, this Thor just so slow at healing out anti-air that the battle is eventually going to be won by GuMiho in the air, and he just picks up, moves away with the rest of his forces.
Yep, that's right. NaDa, though, able to chase those Vikings away at least with that Thor. Now, where will GuMiho decide to drop this? That's the question here.
Oh man, with that air advantage now, those 2 battle cruisers are going to be so strong. Almost pure Marauder battle cruiser is the army that's coming out of GuMiho at the moment.
It's got a nice lead too. NaDa in a bit of a desperate situation right now. He needs to win a big fight here to get back into this game. Oh, and there's the drop from GuMiho at the 3rd. He's going to shut down this base very quickly. Things are very, very rapidly looking like it's going to go in our FXO Terran's favor here.
Yeah, we'll see if NaDa can recover and find a way back into this. He's, with this base denied, down 2 bases to his opponent. He's going to float it back here in just a bit. But because he had so many SCVs early in the game, he's got almost no mining at his natural, nothing going on inside of his main, and really needs to find a way to pick up some extra bases quick.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll have to see how NaDa can kind of scrape his way out of this one. I mean, we've got the battlecruisers out on the field right now for GuMiho. He's adding on 2 more starports as well, as we can see here. And NaDa's anti-air is just not there enough to be able to take that on.
No, not at all. Let's see.
Not quite yet.
There's the battle cruisers, not sitting on any vehicle upgrades or any ship upgrades. I'm sorry, we do have +1 armor coming up now. It'll benefit those Vikings as well. GuMiho's not produced any more Vikings after this. That will give NaDa an opportunity to catch up. In fact, with these 2 Vikings he has on the way now, he will actually be able to catch up.
So that's going to make things very, very interesting then with that Thor added in there as well for NaDa. He is about even again on supply with GuMiho. It's pretty close anyway. GuMiho letting some bio forces die here.
Yeah.
Price of a couple Hellions.
right, but it looks like that's going to be another base taken there for NaDa, so nice job. He does land down that fourth. We'll see. GuMiho, does he want to make his way in against this? He's got to back off now. Yeah, that's way too many siege tanks.
Yep, the Thor is kind of stuck in the middle there. They're like, yeah, it's okay. We've got like a million range for our anti-air. It's fine.
3 Vikings at a time now for NaDa. Wow, GuMiho actually feeling secure enough in his in his air forces that he's actually going to bypass any Vikings, battlecruisers, or whatever, and buff his medevac count.
Could be a mistake. We'll have to see. I mean, obviously you do need medevacs to sustain this sort of army, but you know, NaDa has not been slacking at all in his anti-air here.
All right, well, let's see. He's going to roll his way up and try and pick up a couple of units in the middle of the map. Sieging up with those tanks as well, going to take that position. Now, you were talking before about bio players needing to expand everywhere. That's just what's happening. GuMiho trying to take 2 more bases on the 3 more bases on the left side of the map. NaDa has not been able to successfully do so. And the battle cruisers are going to roll in down at the bottom right-hand corner.
Yeah, will it be enough, though? That is not a very good Viking count to go along with those battle cruisers.
No.
I think GuMiho is making a serious error here, giving NaDa back that air advantage. We'll have to see, though. Both players at about even supply now. If NaDa wins this, it is going to be quite a comeback on his part.
Well, there is a sensor tower sitting inside of his naturals, so he'll be able to pick up on the air units trying to move their way through unless they go around the very bottom part of the map.
Very true. So many tanks. How many tanks is that right now for NaDa?
23.
23 tanks plus 2 more just finishing right now, so 25 tanks out there for NaDa.
He actually has 27 on the map, they're just not all there, so... And the Marauders dying very quickly to the siege tanks and Thors.
You know, this type of game just ends up becoming very, very difficult for the bio player, just because you can never, ever engage your opponent's army, and as long as he positions himself well, it becomes really, really tough to get a sort of edge in the game again. You know, NaDa has caught up. And GuMiho just does not have an army out right now that's capable of taking this on.
GuMiho's trying to do the right thing, besides the anti-air, which I think was a weird choice, not to buff his battle cruisers and air forces and stuff like that. He's going to make a big drop. But, you know, he's expanding everywhere. He's putting down a ton more barracks, so he wants to be able to remax as soon as his army gets killed, because he has so many banked resources.
Yes, it's a distraction, and NaDa knows it. Will he be able to save this base in time? Actually, he will, because those are all Marauders, so the command center itself will survive no matter what.
Yeah, and the medevac's getting pretty low as well. One actually died with a bunch of units inside of it. A few Marauders are going to make their way down, but there's already a couple of tanks rolling out to help delay against that as well. So the Marauders, they're going to get a couple of kills, but not a lot of lasting damage there. GuMiho can, well, pretty much fall flat on that.
Yeah, pretty much. GuMiho taking a chance, and it did not pay off at all. NaDa a little bit behind in supply, but his army is just so much stronger. GuMiho is just pure Marauder right now.
Yeah, GuMiho only now investing in those battle cruisers once again. He's going to have 4 up when these are done, but just 10 Vikings to the 18 with +1 weapons that NaDa's going to have here momentarily, and a smattering of Thors as well. So the overall air game, despite the fact that there's battle cruisers there, is going to be won by NaDa if he keeps up this production.
Yeah, well, NaDa's certainly going to win any sort of straight-up engagement that these two guys get into, and he knows it. Yeah, he knows he's able to finally start to kind of push his opponent around the map. Did such a good job of playing safe here, and GuMiho's the one kind of scrambling now. He's going to have a decent economy with all those orbital commands all over the place. He's been building barracks too behind this, so he can continue to reproduce his units very quickly. He has plenty of banks saved up, so he's not out of this game by any means at all. Could go either way, but NaDa just has such a strong army at this point.
All right, well, we'll see if these tanks, Thors, and Vikings, oh my, can make their way up. Now, it looks like GuMiho just going to try and move in against us, but boom goes the dynamite. The tanks moving up and just annihilating. Oh, God, that's
I don't think he
so
was
much
expecting
blood.
that many tanks, man.
No.
Yeah, he was like, all right, oh, you're on siege, but there's like more tanks than I have Marauders. Whoops. So NaDa, I think he's going to go right for the natural here.
Well, now NaDa, he does have 3 more Vikings coming up, so he's starting to wrest back control of the air game, because NaDa had been producing so few Vikings there for a little while. Now starting that production once again, though.
This is interesting. You know, if GuMiho wins the air battle, those battle cruisers are going to basically end the game in his favor. So NaDa's still on thin ice here.
All right, let's see. Scouting, Hellion is scouting. He dies, but we'll see if these Vikings now at +1 for NaDa. Yeah, it looks like he does not have +2 on the way. He's just rolling up with everything at the moment, and those Thors in that number, I mean, it's very difficult to keep your Viking spread that well when you have that many of them, so they could turn the tide of this battle.
Yeah, 2 more battle cruisers coming out for GuMiho. He's going to be up to a total of 6. He's getting that armor upgrade as well. Oh, nice little Hellion run by for NaDa. This is exactly the type of thing he needs to do to keep competitive in this game.
Yeah, very nice job.
Out that base.
A lot of workers killed, and that's actually going to even up the workers killed 53 apiece over the course of this game.
Wow, a little drop in the natural here, but not a whole lot to accomplish there.
No, no mining going down, and that's not enough to start threatening the production.
NaDa's just not even going to worry about it. Trying to chase down that army for now.
Yeah, and it looks like he's put a good stop to 2 bases now. This is pretty good job with those Hellions. Just that giving him quite an advantage here, as now, as you can see, GuMiho has run through his banked resources. Of course, he's poured that into battle cruisers, of which he's going to have 8 with +2 armor, and that's kind of absurd, but
now,
still.
NaDa's got to be kind of thinking about his options here. He's like, well, do I have the ability to just go for the natural and force GuMiho to react, or do I need to kind of keep sitting back and playing passively? And I think the time for passivity is over here. It's going to be very difficult to take any more expansions at this point for NaDa, and here we go. The air fight is commencing.
Yes, the Thors are getting involved as well. They need to land a couple of splash shots, but they're actually going after the battle cruisers at first. We'll see if it's going to be enough here. Yeah, splash shots now finally starting to hit a couple of the Vikings. Overall,
nice
though,
micro by NaDa.
Yeah, but GuMiho is starting to slowly push this army back, and the battle cruisers are ripping through the siege tanks.
Oh, the unsiege, and here comes the bioforces for GuMiho. Beautiful engagement for the Tal'Darim.
Yeah.
The Vikings have landed, and we are going to see the GG from NaDa.
Wow, that's staggering how good that was right there. And now a 90 supply deficit, and NaDa may very well be knocked out of the Tournament of Champions.
I think so, man. I mean, I don't know if he has much of a chance at all at this point. He just cannot rebuild his army quite quick enough.
Now, what he does have going for him is that he has a massive, massive Viking advantage, and he has denied his opponent's economy. So
he does have that. If he can take out the battle cruisers, he might be able to survive, but that would be just an amazing comeback. Well, and the battle cruisers, I don't know if GuMiho wants to fight this here.
All right,
it's a bold move.
GuMiho running through with the Marauders, and you know, these battle cruisers are slowly pushing back these Vikings, but the battle cruisers are dying in mass right now. The Marauders, though, are doing some incredible damage to the production.
Has to lift all his factories here. He's going to have to rebuild the add-ons for those later. The battle cruisers have been taken out. Marauders still in production, though, for GuMiho.
Yeah.
And he has 100 supply advantage right now. That is huge.
Yeah. And the orbital commands are going to go down. Once the supply depot farm goes down, that's really going to put the pressure on NaDa, as he's not going to be able to reproduce anything else. He's trying to make a couple more factories so he can restart his production, but what can he do against a maxed bio opponent?
Yeah, he hates to give up. You know, we saw it in the earlier games here, but I just don't think he has what it takes to take down GuMiho at this point.
Yeah.
GuMiho playing so good, biding his time until just the right moment.
A 40-minute TVT already as it stands for our last game of the night, and it looks like GuMiho is going to take it and move on to losers round 2.
Yeah, I mean, my heart is breaking for NaDa here. He's, you know, been searching so hard for that big tournament win. Got knocked down to the lower bracket with a coin flip, unfortunately, because of some scheduling difficulties that he had. And now it looks like he's going to be knocked out right away for GuMiho. You know, I feel like this guy, you know, has the ability to come back and win tournaments, but he just has not been able to find that success as of yet. Yeah, 2 more battle cruisers out there.
Yeah.
Factories being eliminated. Once again, there are enough Marines added in here to do a lot of damage to the floating factories.
Yep, and those are all going to go down here in just a second. Stimming up once again, going after those factories. Battle cruisers in tow. Just trying to take out the orbital commands for now, of course. Wants to make sure that won't be able to have any semblance of mining. NaDa going to run over to the left-hand side and continue to try and pick off a couple of units with these Vikings, so.
You know, I like NaDa's attitude to just not give up until you're 100% sure, because you never know. Every once in a while, your opponent will make a huge mistake. I think, you know, nearly any other pro gamer out there would chalk this up as a loss at this point.
Yeah.
150 supply down, of course, and all that, but, you know, NaDa's still going for it. But you know what? By advancing in this round, GuMiho is going to be really a scary player in the lower bracket. Goodbye, Planetary Fortress.
Yep. See you later. Yeah, he most certainly is. I mean, he's shown, obviously, with his GSL Code S semi-final run that he has the potential to take out the best players in the world. He's shown here that despite the fact that TVT is his weakest matchup, he can still compete with the very best players in the world.
Yeah. You see battle cruisers chasing factories.
Yeah, it looks like, unfortunately, another Orbital Command going to go down for GuMiho.
And to NaDa's credit, he has done a ton of damage with these Vikings.
He really has. I think it's mostly to the point now where GuMiho just kind of doesn't care, but...
Yeah, pretty much. He's like, just do whatever you want. I'll get around to those Vikings eventually. But the thing is, though, GuMiho actually can't engage those Vikings air-to-air.
Yeah.
So he has to find time, well, to do that. That does help. NaDa losing 3 Vikings, it looks like, right there.
Oh. Yep, a couple more there as well. So only a handful of Vikings left, 18 supply to 194. We know how this is going to end up. Just to remind you guys, of course, our schedule over the next couple of days. We are going to have more Tournament of Champions tomorrow. We'll have the we'll have the matches announced tomorrow as well, so which ones those are going to be. But then, of course, we're going to be dark on Friday and Saturday. So,
yep, other tournaments out there, other big events this weekend.
Yeah,
so, and we want everybody to be able to see everything out there, so, or at least most everything anyway. So
yeah, of course. Yep. So, all right. Well, looks like a few more Vikings getting picked off just with those Marines, and I think that's enough that the battle cruisers are going to be able to turn around and engage those head on. Bye-bye.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, you can't micro against it, so NaDa kind of showing off here a little bit.
Yes.
It's like, I am NaDa. I can kill your battle cruisers.
And that he might. GuMiho should drop back with the hurt. Oh, he's just baiting them because he wants the Stim Marines to make their way out. And 2 Vikings go down. 1 battle cruiser does fall.
Yeah, NaDa just kind of hanging out at this point.
That's it. That's his only unit.
Is he going to do it?
Does he have it?
It's his last unit.
Oh!
This Viking could win in the game. Oh, he's like 1 shot away.
Look at that. The patrol micro
NaDa.
right there. So cute.
I love NaDa.
I know.
He always puts on a show. And, is he going to be able to do it?
And GuMiho just kind of right-clicking now. Oh, is GuMiho going to come back and repair up the battlecruiser? He is.
Oh, BM. Just kind of let him do it, GuMiho. Let him do it. Oh, that is it. 1 more hit. NaDa's not giving up, man. He wants that battlecruiser dead. He's going to pull it off the land so the mules can't repair it anymore.
Is this like StarCraft Master level 31? Does he have to kill everything with this one Viking?
I think so. NaDa's discovered the final level of StarCraft Master. Oh, the battlecruiser has 30 hit points. And 1 hit point, he kills it. Oh, nice job. GG from NaDa. Yep.
Ever the showman. So